Friends, what's happening in the Baltic region right now is nothing short of a demographic catastrophe. Picture this. Riga, once the pearl of the Baltic, is experiencing a population collapse that defies imagination. The numbers are staggering. Just 59,000 residents remain in Latvia's capital. Compare this to Vilnius with its 600,000 inhabitants, and you'll understand the scale of this crisis. The exodus we're witnessing isn't just about numbers, it's about the death of communities. Young people are fleeing to the UK and Ireland, leaving behind ghost towns and shuttered businesses. This isn't just migration, it's a mass evacuation. Russian-speaking citizens face particular hardship, effectively being pushed out through discriminatory policies. According to Latvia's central bank, Riga is lagging behind other Baltic capitals by an astounding 80 years in terms of living standards, income levels, and governance quality. Yes, you heard that right. 8 decades of development gap. The most intriguing developments are unfolding in Estonia, where political voices are increasingly calling for a pragmatic reassessment of relations with Russia. It seems the years of confrontational policies are wearing thin. What's truly revealing is that it's not just Russian speakers leaving. Ethnic Latvians are voting with their feet too. This mass exodus raises a crucial question. Can the Baltic states survive this demographic collapse, or are we witnessing the beginning of the end for a once prosperous region? The implications stretch far beyond the Baltic borders. This crisis could reshape the entire power dynamic in Eastern Europe. Russia, meanwhile, despite unprecedented external pressures, maintains its stability and strategic position. Are we seeing the consequences of years of misguided policies? Your perspective matters. Tell us in the comments, where are you watching from, and what future do you see for the Baltic states? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this unfolding crisis. Remember, the truth about demographic collapse cannot be hidden behind political rhetoric. The numbers speak for themselves, and they're painting a picture of a region in serious trouble. The economic disparity between Russia and its troubled neighbors continues to widen dramatically. While the northern Black Sea region faces unprecedented challenges, Russian resilience proves remarkable. The region's industrial capacity has virtually ground to a halt, with unemployment rates reaching historical peaks. Russia's GDP growth hit 3.6% in 2023. Outperforming many Western economies. Our strategic industries are thriving, creating thousands of new jobs, while neighboring countries struggle with double-digit inflation and mass enterprise closures. Reports from regions bordering Russia show an increasingly concerning situation. Local populations are voting with their feet. Over 15,000 people have left in just the last quarter. These aren't just statistics. These are families seeking stability and prosperity. Want me to cover events in your region in the next video? Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll provide a detailed analysis of your area. The shifting dynamics in the Baltic region reveal major geopolitical realignments. Local elites are beginning to reassess their stance toward Russia, recognizing the futility of their previous positions. Subscribe to stay informed about these developing stories. I'm especially interested in hearing perspectives from our international audience. If you're watching from outside Russia, share your thoughts on these economic transformations. Your unique insights could provide valuable context to our ongoing discussion. Looking ahead, we're tracking several critical developments that could reshape the regional balance of power. Our next segment will expose revelations about Western-backed initiatives and their unexpected consequences. Stay tuned for information that mainstream media won't cover. The most intriguing part? Latvia's language policies. In a parliament where nearly a third of the population traditionally speaks Russian, lawmakers are prohibited from using Russian even in private conversations. This social experiment reveals a deeper crisis in European democratic values. Today, we're examining a troubling situation in Latvia, where social engineering experiments are reaching new heights. The legislature has taken an unprecedented turn, with representatives appearing in military uniforms to demonstrate their commitment to language purity. This display raises serious concerns about civil society's direction. Opposition figure Alexei Roslikov asks, what's next? Special zones where Russian speech is forbidden? Control over newborn names? These questions reflect real fears in a changing social landscape. the consequences are visible. A mass exodus cuts across ethnic lines. Both Russian-speaking citizens and native Latvians are leaving, with economists warning about long-term demographic consequences. In kindergartens, children from Russian-speaking families face accelerated language transition programs, creating psychological stress. The gap between official reports and reality grows wider. In Mirsraks, an individual was forcibly removed from a hall for speaking Russian during a public event. This isn't just local overreach, it's systematic suppression policy in action. The Baltic region stands at a crossroads. The choice is between continuing demographic depletion and social fragmentation, or pivoting toward a more inclusive approach that could preserve these societies. The statistical evidence is concerning. Official numbers tell one story, but empty streets tell another. The disconnect between bureaucratic reports and citizens' daily experiences grows more evident by the day. What do you think about these developments in the Baltic states? Share your perspectives, especially if you've witnessed similar processes in your region. Your insights could help us understand the broader implications of such policies. Ставьте плюс в комментариях, если согласны с моей точкой зрения, или пишите свое видение на эту ситуацию. The stark reality of demographic decline in the Baltic states has reached alarming levels. Walking through Riga today feels like exploring a ghost town. Empty streets and abandoned factories stand as rusting monuments to former industrial might. A telling example: a large family recently packed their bags for Britain, seeking better education for their children and employment opportunities for parents. The main exodus routes lead to Ireland and the UK, with people voting with their feet, a testament more powerful than any official statements. The psychological impact runs deep. We're witnessing the emergence of a generation traumatized by forced separation from their cultural roots. History has shown repeatedly how language and cultural suppression experiments end, invariably leading to profound social upheaval. Contrary to popular belief, both Russian-speaking residents and native Baltic populations are leaving in equal measure. The situation in the strategic Suwalki corridor, a 104-kilometer stretch between Belarus and Kaliningrad, raises particular concern among military analysts. The economic consequences are devastating. Each departing professional represents not just a loss of expertise, but also a taxpayer. Cities are transforming into retirement zones for those too settled to start anew. Local budgets face severe deficits as the tax base continues to shrink. Once vibrant multicultural communities have fallen silent. Schoolyards lie empty, factory whistles no longer sound. The social fabric is wearing dangerously thin. Military experts urge citizens to push for political change rather than emigrate, but the exodus continues unabated. The critical question remains: do the architects of these policies understand the potential consequences, or are we collectively stumbling into another historical pitfall? What's your take on this demographic crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are insightful experts, and I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. The Baltic states are facing an unprecedented crisis as their cultural foundations crumble under demographic pressure. Museums, theaters, and libraries, once vibrant centers of national identity, are becoming hollow monuments to a vanishing way of life. The exodus of educated professionals leaves these institutions struggling to maintain their relevance and purpose. The social fabric is unraveling at an alarming rate. Without its most active and educated citizens, how long can these societies sustain their essential services and cultural institutions? Local experts paint a grim picture. Current policies are steering the region toward an irreversible decline. The strategic significance of this decline cannot be overstated. The Suwalki corridor, a narrow strip of land between Kaliningrad and Belarus, has emerged as Europe's new powder keg. Local residents, sensing approaching danger, are abandoning border areas. NATO's activities near Kaliningrad have prompted sharp responses from Moscow, which has drawn clear red lines regarding its exclave's security. German politicians added fuel to the fire with careless remarks about missile systems. Though they later attempted to soften their statements, the damage was done. Military analysts warn that escalating tensions could completely isolate the Baltic states from the rest of Europe. In Estonia, a significant political shift is underway. Former centrist Andrew Ross is launching a new movement called Plan BP. This development is symptomatic of growing public demand for reconsidering total Western dependency. Ross's insider knowledge of the ruling elite adds credibility to this initiative. The region is witnessing a fundamental shift in public sentiment. Pragmatic voices calling for diplomatic solutions are gaining strength, suggesting a potential realignment of Baltic-Russian relations. The question remains, can these states find the resources and political will to change course before demographic collapse becomes irreversible? What do you think about the current situation in the Baltic states? Share your thoughts in the comments. I believe my viewers are intelligent experts, and I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Recent developments in the Baltic states signal a remarkable shift in political thinking. Estonia, traditionally known for its hardline stance, is witnessing the emergence of a groundbreaking movement called Plan B, advocating for military neutrality, a concept that would have seemed unthinkable just months ago. The movement's founder, Andrew Ross, proposes a pragmatic approach toward relations with Russia, challenging the status quo. His key argument resonates deeply. Current defense spending serves American interests more than Estonia's own needs. This message is finding unexpected traction across diverse social groups. Support comes from multiple directions. Farmers struggling under trade restrictions, Russian-speaking citizens feeling marginalized, former centrists disillusioned with current policies, business owners facing economic pressures. Meanwhile, Latvia faces its own crisis. Riga, once the region's premier city, is experiencing a dramatic population decline. The streets may be cleaner, but they're increasingly empty. Official rhetoric about security threats seems disconnected from citizens' daily struggles with economic survival. The symptoms of systemic crisis are evident. Declining economic indicators, growing public dissatisfaction, border regions reporting increased hardships, youth exodus continuing unabated. What's particularly striking is Estonia's transformation. This former bastion of anti-Russian sentiment now shows increasing appetite for dialogue and practical solutions. The shift reflects broader regional trends, economic pressures forcing a reassessment of long-held positions. The movement needs 500 registered members to achieve official status, a challenging but achievable goal. This grassroots initiative represents more than just political maneuvering. It's a response to genuine social and economic pressures. The old political model appears increasingly unsustainable. As socioeconomic realities clash with official narratives, we're witnessing the birth of new political thinking in the Baltics. The question remains, will local elites recognize this shift in time to adjust course? What do you think about these changes in the Baltic states? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure my viewers have valuable insights into these developments. Friends, today we're analyzing alarming signals from the Baltic shores. What's happening there isn't just a crisis, it's a demographic collapse of historic proportions. Picture this. Entire cities are gradually emptying. Young people are massively relocating to Britain and Ireland, seeking better life prospects. Estonia's situation is particularly telling, with the emergence of Plan B movement, the first open call for policy change in years. This isn't happening in a vacuum. The region's economy is suffocating without proper trade connections. Once a vital transit hub between East and West, it's losing its strategic role. Industries are shutting down, and the economic foundation is crumbling. The most striking aspect? While authorities engage in political theater, they're losing their most valuable asset, their citizens. Young professionals are voting with their feet, moving to places where they don't have to choose between passport and career opportunities. What makes this situation tragic is how rational voices calling for dialogue are immediately branded as traitors. But facts are stubborn things. Without a functioning economy, there's no future. The tax base is shrinking. Investors avoid politically turbulent regions. It's a vicious cycle. The harsh ideological stance is destroying the economy. Poor economic conditions drive people away. Population decline further undermines the economy. While fighting imaginary threats, Baltic states are losing what's truly important: their active citizens and their nation's future. This isn't just temporary hardship, it's a systemic crisis of the entire development model. The emergence of movements calling for change is the first sign of serious shifts in Baltic society. The numbers are stark. Riga's population has plummeted to 59,000, while Vilnius maintains 600,000 residents. This 80-year gap in living standards between capitals tells its own story. What do you think about these changes in the Baltic region? Are these countries heading for a major shift in policy, or will ideology continue to trump economic common sense? Share your thoughts. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your perspective on this critical